Hello guys and welcome back to Miss Ashlyn 2. If you're new or old here, today I am going to be doing a story time video because, you know, I thought I would just sit down and chat with you guys and tell you about a time that was very traumatic in my life. So today I'm going to be telling the story of how I wrecked my first car, which was a 2016 Corvette Stingray. So before we actually talk about the wreck itself, I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of background. First of all, I paid for this car all by myself, and it was my dream car ever since I was very little. So when I got it, it was my baby. I took very good care of it, and I loved that car so much. Honestly, looking back, I don't think I had that much experience driving. I did go to like driver's ed and all that, and I was a very safe driver, so I don't know, it was kind of just an accident, honestly. But let's get to that. So it was a Thursday evening, I remember. It was just a cloudy day, so I was going driving, and I actually remember I was kind of upset because I was talking to this boy, and he like wasn't being the same. He was kind of talking to me less, and I don't know why I remember all this. So I was actually on the phone with my friend driving. However, I was not like on the cell phone. I had like hands-free driving / calling people. So it was literally like somebody was sitting next to me in the car. So I can't really say I was like on the phone, if that makes sense. But literally I remember that conversation and being like, oh yeah, he's like been talking to me less. And back then I was actually talking to another boy about this boy. So before the actual wreck itself, I was on the cell phone with my guy friend, and it's just really weird because me and my guy friend was like joking beforehand, and I was telling him I was driving around, and he was like, oh, be safe, don't die. Like, it was literally like a joke. So when the wreck actually happened, I was still on the phone with him and he thought I was joking. So like he heard me scream, and literally like the phone disconnected, so he just thought I was like pranking him that I actually got in the accident. However, the accident was legit. So all I remember is like the sun was going down, so it's kind of like hard to see outside, you know, kind of that in-between phase of like daylight / darkness. And I actually wasn't feeling that well, and like when I didn't feel well or if I was bored, I would always just go driving around. And when I mean like driving around, I would literally have like this circle that I did that was like near our house. It was just like a loop. So literally it was like the same route every time, except it never got boring because I was in a Corvette. So as you can tell, I took very good care of it. I was always like a safe driver, you know, but I didn't feel well, so I thought I would go driving, and I believe it was around 7 o'clock that this happened. And I was literally turning on my street that I live on when the accident happened. So it was a turn left on green sign, but it was like a yield on green, if that makes sense. So even though like the stoplight said green, it means you have to watch out for the other cars. However, I completely did not see the car coming, and me just looking up saw the green light and probably thought green means go. So I was turning, and legit all I remember was just like lights flashing in front of my face, and then I got knocked out, so I blacked out. So I really don't remember what happened in between that. I do remember like waking up, and I just remember like the airbag had went off, you know, and I had like glass everywhere. And like I said, it happened on the road I live on. So I was like, okay, I gotta find my phone. And I called my parents. I was like, I had an accident, get down here, I'm by McDonald's is what I said. So meanwhile, this guy, I couldn't even tell you what he looked like today. But I remember he like grabbed me out of my car. He was like an angel. He was really hot too, I think. But he like got me out of my car and like carried me to the curb because my car was like smoking, and he wanted to make sure it didn't like blow up or anything. So he like carried me to the curb, and I just remember bawling my eyes out. And yeah, the lady that hit me, even though it was my fault, was very mad at me. So the actual accident that happened itself involved 3 cars. Yes, 3 cars. So what happened was I pulled in front of one car, that car hit me, spinned off my car and hit another car, and apparently I spinned 3 times when I was blacked out. Yeah, pretty traumatic. So let's continue back. I was on the curb and the lady that hit me was so mad at me. She was like screaming at me. She was like, "You're a little brat, blah, blah, blah." And I wouldn't have cared. Like, she had a right to be mad. It was my fault. However, safety is like my concern in that situation. And I had a huge bump on my head. Like, I'm talking huge. And so my parents get there, the ambulance get there, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you know, you have a huge bump on your head. You need to get to the emergency room." So that lady continued to keep screaming at me and my parents, calling me a brat, that it was all my fault, blah, blah, blah. And she was so mean. My parents were literally like, "Stop. Like, we are not concerned about the cars right now. Like, those are material items. We need to worry about her head." So I get to go on an ambulance ride, and so my mom was in the front and my dad drove behind the ambulance, and I'm just chilling in the back. At this point, I was conscious, I knew what happened, and I was even Snapchatting people saying I was in an accident. And what's funny too about this part is my mom told my sister that I was in a car accident and that I was being taken to the emergency room. So my sister, Amber, she freaked out because she was a trauma nurse. So she sees like a bunch of accidents and stuff. So she thought it was really bad. So she like stopped doing what she was doing and like raced over to like the hospital where I was going and stuff. And literally like when they wheeled me out of the ambulance, she was like, "Oh, like it's not that bad. Like you could have been hurt a lot worse." So, like I said, I had just a big bump on my head. I will insert pictures here. Hopefully that's not too graphic for you guys. But yeah, it was a pretty big bump. It was like a softball on my head. So I remember they just like did a CT scan and put an IV in my hand, made sure my head wasn't bleeding, and I was off to go. So I came back and literally they like cleaned up the car accident. There was still like glass on the road, and legit I'm always reminded of the accident because it happened on my street. So with that being said, I was kind of hoping that my car wasn't totaled. However, it was completely totaled. It was just smashed. Everything wasn't aligned, and I remember just crying for days, even though I was on bed rest, and I got a black eye because apparently what gave me the big bump on my head was the mirror like came through the glass and hit me in the head apparently. So it gave me a black eye and a huge bump on my head. So my car was totaled, and that was my happy place. That was my baby. So I was devastated. However, nobody else was hurt in the accident, really. However, nobody was hurt in the accident, so that is always a good thing. And luckily, insurance helped me out, and it only cost me a few $1,000s. You know, just a few thousands, so that hurt really bad. Going back to the guy that I was on the phone with when the accident happened, he still did not believe me that I actually was in an accident, and he was like, "Send pics, I don't believe you." So I literally Snapchatted him in the ambulance to prove that I was actually in an accident, and then he finally believed me. He felt really bad, but of course it was not his fault at all that I was on the phone with him. It would have made no difference. It was just an accident. I did not see the car coming, and all that matters is everybody was okay. And guys, this is just a funny side note, but back then I used to make videos every week, and I still had to film with a black eye. So I created a skit that was based off like me having an accident, and I pretended that the black eye was fake. However, it was real, and yeah, I still worked and everything. So after my black eye went away and everything kind of settled down, I realized I needed another car, and I still had the love of Corvettes in my heart. And you know, that Corvette protected me because I could have been hurt way worse, and it saved my life. So therefore, I was like, I have to get another Corvette, and I was blessed enough to get another Corvette. It is a 2018, it's a 2017 red Corvette, same color, same everything, and I love it. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this story time. If you guys loved it, then don't forget to tell me and give this video a big thumbs up. And subscribe down below if you'd like more videos like these, and to stay tuned for more. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye guys!